we're going to start building the index that will assemble for our entire total training catalog. We're going to begin that by first showing how we can do index entries for the Adobe Classes section of that catalog. Now, I'm going to go to page 2, which is the start of where that information is. And that allows me to see all of my course titles. I'm going to highlight Adobe Acrobat 10 Pro Essentials. So I've got that line. In this case, I just dragged it from front to back. The other option is I could have simply clicked 1, 2, 3 times to highlight the entire line. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Window pull-down menu, and I'm going to go to Type in Tables, and I'm going to open up the Index panel. The keyboard shortcut for that is Shift F8 on the Mac platform as well as on the PC platform. So I'm going to select the Index Panel menu command, and that shows it right where we've got it here. Now I'm going to create a brand new index entry based on Acrobat 10 Pro Essentials that I've got right there. I do that by going to the lower right of the panel and creating a new index entry. When I do that, I'll see that it shows Acrobat 10 Pro Essentials. I'm going to add that entry to my InDesign document, and when I do that, you'll notice now that the index panel is populated. It shows A through L, but it actually has the entire alphabet in here, if I could pull that down, as well as symbols that are loaded in. Now, I'm going to get rid of that Adobe because I'm going to create a separate layout for all of the Adobe classes. So I'm going to go highlight that and edit, cut. The keyboard shortcut for that is Command X on the Mac, Control X if you're working on a Windows PC. I'm going to get rid of that extra space there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the Acrobat 10 Pro Essentials down to a secondary sub-entry. I can actually set these all up as far as 4 levels deep, but I'm just going to take this and set a second level. I'm going to click inside that first level, and I'm going to go Edit, Paste to place Adobe. And when I do that, I'm going to add that entry too. So I'm going to say Done. And when I do, you'll notice that there's a little right-pointing triangle next to the letter A. If I click on that, it shows I've got 2 listings, one for Adobe. If I click on that triangle, it's got a sub-listing of Adobe Acrobat 10 Pro Essentials. The second listing is Adobe Acrobat Pro Essentials. Now, I probably don't need it to be that way. I'll probably want to edit out that Adobe. So all I need to do is double-click on it, and this allows me to change this index entry. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that Adobe in the space and make it just Acrobat 10 Pro Essentials. And when I say OK, that's exactly what gets loaded in. Now, it's easy for me in Layout View to create and edit index entries, but it's not very easy for me to see where they're at or how the formatting is done. That doesn't show up in the Layout View because they're special characters. I can get to that, though, by going to the Edit pull-down menu and selecting the Edit in Story Editor menu command. And what this does is this opens up what's known as an executive level word processing program. It just means it's simple enough that even an executive can run it. I'm going to highlight this second line, the Adobe Illustrator CS5 Essentials, by triple clicking 1, 2, 3 to highlight the entire line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Create a New Index Entry. When I do that, I'm going to highlight that Adobe in space, get rid of it. I actually deleted the I, so I'm going to put it back, add that index entry. Now you'll remember the last time I copied Adobe, and so I can just go like this, go inside of here and go Command V to paste, Control V if you're working on a Windows PC, and add that second entry right there, and it's done. Not only can I highlight this much easier in this story layout view, but I can also see where the tabs are and where the index entries are put in. So as I've got those in, I can make this happen very quickly. When you start a process like this, you generally want to go all the way to the end. So I'm going to do this a few more times with you. 1, 2, 3. Triple click it to highlight it. New index entry. Delete the Adobe and the space. add it. Move it down. Click into the first level, Command V to paste Adobe, add it. OK. Let's go to the next one, Dreamweaver. I don't have those two little index entries there, so I can see clearly in the Story Editor view what I have added index entries for and what I haven't. 1, 2, 3 times. Click on that. New index entry. Delete the space in Adobe. Add it. Move it down. Click into the top level. Command V to paste it. Add it. Done. Do the same thing for Adobe Encore. New index entry. Delete the Adobe in the space. Click the Add button. Put it down a level. Command V or Control V if you're on a Windows PC to paste it above, add it, and done. I see I've got 2 index entries there. So it's very quick and easy for me. I also don't have to switch from page to page when I'm doing this because it remembers the entire thread. So it's much faster for me to do this. I'm going to do one more time just to go through the rhythm. Click 3 times to highlight the entire thing. Get rid of the Adobe in the space. Add it. Move it down a level. Put your cursor in the top level. Command V to paste it. Say OK. Do the same thing here for Flash Catalyst, Flash Professional, and Adobe Fireworks. 1, 2, 3. Highlight it there. It's a tedious job, but you can establish a rhythm when you do that that makes it much easier for you to do this quickly and efficiently. Do it one more time. Click 1, 2, 3 times to highlight the entire line. Create a new index entry. Delete the Adobe in the space. Add the entry. Move it down a level. Click back into the top level. Go Command V if you're working on a Mac, Control V if you're working on a Windows PC to place the second index entry. Add it. Say done, and you're ready to continue. The rest of these are actually done, so all we have to do now is go down to the very last one. I'm going to move now to the very end of this, where I've actually got all those index tabs put in. Now, I can see clearly that I have them built when I'm working with Adobe InDesign, working in the Story Editor layout. I can also see what tabs are built here, over here to the right in my index panel. For example, if I open up the C, I can see the ones for Captivate 4 Essentials, the last one I did, as well as that one I did for Creative Suite 5 Design Workflow. If I go to the one for D, I can see the one I've got for Dreamweaver. I go to E, I can see the one for Encore. So I can see all of those index entries that I built where the program itself was the primary entry. If I open up the one for Adobe, it'll let me see all of the courses that I first set as Adobe for the primary entry, and then the name of the program I'm working with for the secondary entry. So all of them are listed right over here. Now, the next thing we'd do, if we're getting to the end of this, would be to close that Story Editor, go back to the Layout view, and it would actually give us the option to click on the Generate Index button and actually build the index for our Total Training Catalog. But there are a couple of things we need to do first, the most important of which is actually link up a series of smaller individual publications into an InDesign book that will contain all of the documents that will end up being our Total Training Catalog. We'll do that starting in the next unit of our InDesign CS6 course.